I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, Santa Claus, welcome. We have our invocation by Bishop Sella. Would you like us to sit or stand or?
Stand, please. Lord of wisdom, guide our elected officials as they consider issues for the welfare for this community. God of peace, guide and protect those responsible for our good order and peace, police, firemen, other public workers. God of justice, guide our judges and those responsible for administering the law to be fair and just. God of this world, guide us all to work together for the common good of our community.
Bishop Sella, thank you very much. Harriet, what brings you here today? Well, if you stand in front between the railing and here, the speakers will pick you right up.
Yep.
Yeah, this side, our side of it.
Hello, everybody.
And we have Santa Claus here.
Yeah, he's gonna play.
Santa Claus, you're not in the picture.
Ukulele. He's gonna play his ukulele.
Yeah, I guess the dog's not here.
What?
Banjo's too heavy and noisy.
Santa Claus
banjo?
came also. See, we've got a great meeting, and this is a democracy, and it's wonderful that we have these meetings and everybody gets their say. We've got one Christmas song and one Hanukkah song. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see that reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering a simple phrase for kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you, and one Hanukkah song. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, Shaggy Fekuka, or Haviv Misaviv, Gilly Yelet Bra. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, so vivan so, Manayim Batov. So happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you, Harriet.
Thank you.
Harriet, Santa, are you going to play for us?
I have to play and sing a song, but I hope you guys don't get mad because besides doing Christmas parties known as Santa Claus, I'm also known as Hanukkah Harry.
Hanukkah Harry.
There you go.
know, so if you need me for Hanukkah parties too,
Hanukkah Harry, Hanukkah Harriet.
because after Christmas and
Yeah,
Hanukkah,
Hanukkah Harry and Hanukkah Harriet. That's funny.
well, I'd like to sing, and Harriet, help me out here. Jingle bells, one straight through. Ready? We're dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. On the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun it is to sing the sleigh song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh,
says this isn't a variety show? This takes me back to the Sonny and Cher days, right? Harriet, if you could hold on one second,
Donnie
you
and
could
Marie.
Donnie and Marie. You could introduce our canine friend. Can we bring our canine friend in?
Let's see the doggy.
She wants to sing.
How much is it for the dog?
Okay, that's fine. That's
Oh, is this the same one as last time?
No, last time we had Duchess. This one's Diesel.
Diesel.
Fiesel? No, we haven't had Fiesel before. Is Fiesel a girl or a boy?
She's about 4 years old.
Oh,
Absolute sweetheart.
well, we'll sing a song for Fiesel.
You can.
I see a cute doggy at the town hall. Woof, woof. The one with the waggly tail. I see a cute doggy at the town hall. Woof, woof. I hope she's adopted without fail. If you can adopt this cute doggy, just call 727-3200. I hope you will get the opportunity to take this dog home without fail. This cute doggy really, really needs you to pet her and love her such. And if you are able to adopt her, she'll thank you so very, very, very much. She will. She's gonna thank you, yes.
How long has Diesel been at the shelter?
Oh,
Diesel
Diesel,
is
I
coming
thought
up
it
to
was
her 1 year
Diesel.
anniversary actually. She was surrendered almost a year ago in December. The owner had to move, couldn't stay in the home she was in, and was not able to take her with her. So she unfortunately was surrendered to us and has been waiting oh so patiently for a loving home. She's an absolute sweetheart, and she's just waiting for someone to give her a chance.
Says it gets along with most dogs and people and
She's
loves to
coming
walk
to
and snuggle.
me.
4 years old, mixed breed. Sweet girl.
Wow, the dog's more better behaved than my dog. Doesn't sit.
She's 4 years old?
She is 4 years
4
old,
years
yep,
old.
and she is just a love.
Oh, she's
She looks like a
old.
puppy. Harriet.
Wow,
Looks
look
like
at
a
that.
puppy.
Yeah, kisses and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She kisses, she sits, and we're working on everything else.
Hi, Fiesel.
Well, hopefully somebody either in the audience
Oh, I'm
or
sorry I
somebody
can't
in the
take
camera
Fiesel.
audience will come and adopt easily. She looks like a great pet. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fiesel.
Harriet, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Can I have the chief come up? And we can have Officer Thomas Kinzella and Anthony Montalbano come up. And their family members.
Do you want those?
And we actually, these are two of Riverhead's newest police officers. And they were hired about 2 weeks ago. And we're going to, your family members are here. Why don't you have, whoever family members are here, if you want to come up? No? Okay. Uh, no family, huh? Sorry. That's all right. Anyway, we're going to actually, I know you've been sworn in, but we're going to have formally swear you in, and we actually have an oath of office for you guys to sign. So if you guys will raise your right hands, and now you got to get this right. After I say I, you state your name. Don't say state your name. State your name. I
Thomas Gonzalez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer for the great town of Riverhead,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the police officer for the great town of Riverhead,
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Welcome aboard, guys. Really appreciate you serving. We do have these things for you to sign. Chief, would you like to say a few words about these new fine recruits?
Yes, these two fine recruits come from Wading River.
Again.
Again.
Wading River.
We're happy to have you, and it is wonderful, and you can see that this town is a very close-knit community. I think you both live in town, and you've seen this, people like Harriet Haas, and everybody that comes out between the dogs and Santa Claus being here. This is what makes the town great, and one of the things that I've said to many police officers, you are our ambassadors. You're the ambassadors to the 5 men and women that sit up here. Most times the people don't see us as the board members. They get their garbage picked up, they get their streets clean, they do, they see certain things happening, but they never really deal with the town board. But they do deal with you folks, and they usually deal with the police department in times where it's tragedy has struck or something terrible has happened, and it's not always the best situation that you go into. You know this. And as ambassadors for the great town of Riverhead and for the town board, we just want you to go forth and be safe, and keep in mind that these residents, even though as stressful as these times are for them, that you have the full faith of this town board to execute your job and do serve as a police officer. We have your backs. So I don't know if you guys want to say anything.
Just thank you for the opportunity to serve the town. I feel the same way. I feel very lucky to have been afforded this opportunity and do the job to the best of my abilities. So.
We appreciate it. Jim, we don't have PBA here, but would you like to say anything as a
No,
former PBA president?
I tell you what, it's just nice to see that we keep filling in the rank and file, which is good because officers are aging out and leaving and retiring, and it's nice to get the new breed and local breed back in. So, welcome aboard, and good luck to you. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes.
Just one sign here, one sign, I'll fill in the rest, okay?
This is a tough. I screwed it up.
I just want to say something about these 2 new police officers. They're certified police officers for the state of New York. So that means that they do not have to go to the police academy. We get them from other police departments, so they can go on patrol right away. And I think we've been very lucky to have this happen, that we're not going to lose 6 months in school for these 2 police officers, that they'd rather work in the town of Riverhead than other police departments. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right.
252.
John.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of the town board meeting November 19, 2013. So moved.
And seconded?
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabriel Sims.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
Diane.
Sure. Let's see, under correspondence, a letter from Barbara Ross and Robert Hall expressing their observations regarding the landscaping details at the shops at Riverhead. Under CAC correspondence, resolution 213-51, Edward Hocker, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-113-1-9. Under applications, Mainstream Housing, a special permit application to convert office space into bedrooms, living room, kitchen, dining at 755 East Main Street, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600. I think I messed up on that, so I'll skip that. Under reports, the sewer district submitted their discharge monitoring report for October 2013.
All right.
And that's it.
Any other reports?
I just wanted to tell Tim Gannon if he could put up online that there's a blood drive today at the firehouse, the Riverhead Firehouse. So if anybody is leaving here and they want to go over and help save a life, that would be great. So Riverhead Firehouse for the blood drive today.
And on December 14th, which is 2 Saturdays from now, is our annual bonfire, 13th annual Riverhead Bonfire on the riverfront. 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and Santa arrives by the Christmas boat at 5. And there'll be hot chocolate and cookies and candy canes for the children and pictures and a gingerbread house and music, and it's a great time, so.
Is that
And
our
it's free.
Is that our gingerbread house sitting in Calverton getting work done, or is that another one?
No, it's ours, yeah, actually the bid owns it, but yes, it's ours. It's sort of like hit a sign on the way back last year.
Oh.
A little damage.
Okay.
And also, I'd like to, for all the hunters out there, we're having our gun hunting lottery on Monday, December 16th at 7 o'clock right here in Town Hall. And that's for the January gun hunt, which runs from January 6th to January 31st.
I heard shotguns this morning, was wrong.
All right. Thank you. No, not yet. All right, any other committee reports? Not hearing anybody. We have one public hearing scheduled, and it's scheduled for 2:05. It is 2:15. I'll open up the public hearing at 2:15 for the consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 52 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Building Construction. Bob, this was is this more of a housekeeping?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What we're saying in here is, this is 52-10 subsection H, and we're adding language in here that if any land clearing or building commencement of any construction activity is without the benefit of approval and release of all applicable permits, then all fees associated with any land clearing or building construction activity will be doubled. And we basically took out that you have to have, that there's a waiver of a 90-day period, because that was really just an amnesty period, and if you don't have your approvals, your fees will be doubled. Does anybody wish to be heard on this matter? Not seeing anybody. I'll close it for written comment and leave it open, close it for public comment, leave it open to written comment for Friday, December 13th at 4:30 p.m. at the town clerk's office. You want to revise that?
Yeah, 2:51.
Can we now open it up for public comment on resolutions? Anybody wish to be heard on resolutions?
So quiet.
It's a good Christmas.
All right, then let's, Diane, let's take up the resolutions.
Wow. Fun. Resolution 806.
Chapter 54 and Chapter 96, project closures. So moved.
And I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 807.
It's the 2013 Washington Avenue Culvert Budget Adjustment. So moved.
And seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 808.
2013 General Town Budget Adjustment. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 809.
Closure of account in Capital One. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 810.
Closure of capital accounts. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 811.
Office of Justice Monitoring Matters Capital Project Closure Budget Adjustment. So moved.
And seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 812.
Closure of Fund 451, bank account in Suffolk County National Bank. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 813.
Declares public emergency regarding Sweezy Avenue road condition. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
I just want to thank our engineering department and our highway department who actually went a little bit deeper than they could have in putting this out for a bid with not knowing what the conditions were under the road. And by being innovative and putting cameras underneath the road, they could actually see what was happening, which avoided having to go underneath the railroad track, which would have cost the town a significant amount more money, more like $100,000 versus the money that it's costing us. So I just want to thank them all for being dedicated to the town and saving the taxpayers' money, and I will vote yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
I'm going to vote no. This did not go out for a bid. they declared an emergency, so they just offered it to one person, and they made 3 phone calls. I think this has been a problem we've been having for the last 2 to 3 months, so I don't think it's an emergency, and I think they're just trying to circumvent the bidding process, so I vote no.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 814.
Awards a bid on a used 2004 or newer 35-ton detachable low bid trailer. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved in second, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 815.
This accepts the highway superintendent's personnel report and request for town board resolution to effectuate personnel request. So moved.
And seconded?
Moved in second, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes, sorry.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 816.
Appoints a senior building inspector. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved in second, vote please.
Giglio.
We've saved over $400,000 by not replacing the senior building inspector when he retired 3 years ago. We didn't replace that position, and then the second in line went to a part-time position when they retired. So we've saved over $400,000 doing more with less in the last 3 years, and now we're getting a full-time building inspector at the starting salary rather than paying the full price for a senior building inspector. So it's what this board has done to try and do more with less, but now's the time that we need a full-time senior building inspector, and I will vote yes.
Gabrielson.
I just want to add to what Councilwoman Giglio said, and stating the fact that this guy is a commercial inspector and a residential, so I think he can help out in a lot of areas in the town, and I think he's a good choice, yes.
Wooten.
What can I say? It was always a full-time position, and then when we tried to cut back, we made it a part-time position, and now that we got a new man in charge over there, it really, we gotta get more professional with this, and we need a full-timer, so it's just part of doing good business and good government, so yes.
Dunleavy.
I vote no, and the reason is, this is not the starting salary. We had to increase his salary from the starting salary for 4 steps, so he would come. We have qualified people in the town of Riverhead that reside in the town of Riverhead that requested this position, and we're giving it to someone outside the town of Riverhead who do not pay our salaries. The town people pay our salaries, and they, if they qualify, they should get first preference. So I'm voting no on this resolution.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Brad Hammond.
Resolution 817.
Reappoints temporary clerk to the tax receiver's office. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved in second, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 818.
Authorizing to reject and republish advertisements for Ford automotive replacement parts. So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 819.
On this one, based upon the board's comments yesterday at the work session review, where you wanted some recitation or acknowledgement by Keyspan and LIPA that there may be lands used adjacent to the area in question, and that site access would be required. I did reach out to the parties in question, and they both agreed to some modification of the verbiage of the site access agreement. So I would ask the board to consider amending 819 and 820 so that where it says in the next to last whereas it says attached, it does say it's substantially a form attached, that it's just that the board's aware that there is going to be some further changes. Also that LIPA and Keyspan, since they're both looking to gain same access to the 1,000 foot area of the northerly, if one of them decides that the agreement's going to recognize the fact that we're going to be executing 2 non-exclusive agreements with each of them, so there's going to be some additional verbiage to that effect. And then finally, I want to put in the verbiage, so as long as it's just understood that it's not the agreement that's attached that's being voted on. I went around a little bit on that, but because I was still working with them on it.
I'm
I may have confused it a little bit more.
Should we?
You wanna just
wait?
table it and?
Yeah, thinking.
I'm not opposed to it, as long as we get it done by the end of the year and we can take it up next meeting, that might be the
Okay,
best way
let's
to deal
table
with it.
both of them.
Then I'll make a motion to table for further drafting resolutions 819 and 820. Move to table.
And second the table?
Moved and seconded as to table,
Is this for both 18 and?
819 and
19 and 20.
820.
Okay. Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolutions 819 and 820 are tabled. We'll move to resolution 821.
Authorizes the Parks and Recreation Department to facilitate execution of an excursion event, participant terms and conditions. Agreement regarding Town of Riverhead sponsored excursion events. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 822.
Authorize the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for water service materials. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 823.
Resolution authorizing the town of Riverhead to lease property described as Suffolk County Tax Map 600-128-5-25, known and commonly referred to as the Second Street Firehouse to Love Shack Fancy. Subject permissive referendum. Got some questions.
I second it.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Have we have a time limit on this?
This,
I think it's a couple months.
it's 4 months, but this is
Wow.
really exciting for downtown Riverhead
I
because we
can
have
imagine.
This is,
Do we have the option to pull this one?
Vogue magazine is actually going to be coming downtown Riverhead and filming while they're shooting these advertisements for these dresses. And it's an exclusive brand, and I think that Riverhead is getting a name, and it's a good name, and people want to come here and they want to do business here. So yes.
Gabrielson.
And I think it's what, 800 a month?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Wooten.
Fencing January.
he wants to see the dresses.
Is it a month to month?
Yeah, it's a, what's a 4-month term?
4 months.
4 month.
4 months.
Month.
Well, it wasn't quite what the Love Shack Fancy I thought it was gonna be, but I'll vote yes.
Thank goodness.
Dunleavy.
I vote yes. This is good for downtown, and it's a good advertisement for the town of Riverhead.
Walter.
Maybe I could go down and get photographed and get some of those, good-looking shots that some of the other supervisors have. Probably not.
Cameras
Yes.
can't work miracles.
Resolution adopted.
I know.
Is that nice? Yeah.
Resolution 824.
Ratifies execution and submission of grant application to Suffolk County for fiscal year 2014 Community Development Block Grant Funds. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes, it's glad that we can help some of these applications. Bread and More, Open Arms, Riverhead Community Awareness Program, Dominican Sisters, and Marines Haven. These people do marvelous jobs in feeding and taking care of the indigent people that we have in the town of Riverhead. So the little bit we can help, I'm gratified that we're helping them. Yes.
Walter.
Ditto, yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 825.
Resolution authorizing the items listed below pursuant to the Bond Act enacted in 1965, 1972, and 1996, and the Environmental Protection Fund, as well as federal grant rewards available for such projects, funding application to New York State DEC for Round 11, 2013 Water Quality Improvement Project to support enhanced sewer infrastructure at EPCAL subdivision. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio.
Yes.
Gabrielson.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 826.
Establishes time of regular meetings of the town board, I guess in 2014.
Correct.
That's not on
We're
here.
just alternating them on and off. And Tara, I guess the ones where there's Monday days off, we switch the meetings to Wednesdays?
Yes, including the May meeting that the assessors will be the boardroom for.
Okay.
Jason was
Okay. Did somebody second it? Jim?
What?
Second? Second? Oh, I thought you moved it.
He just said.
I'll second. I just-
No.
You didn't move it?
Yeah, I did move it.
You did move it.
Yeah.
moved
Jim
it.
seconded, moved and seconded, vote please. You did move it.
I did.
Giglio,
Yes.
Gabrielson,
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Dunleavy,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
resolution adopted. Resolution 827,
Before I read 827, I just have a question on 825. We talked about the round 11.
The grant?
Yeah, well, towards the end, after the darker print, it says the town of Riverhead CDA board authorizes submission. So who would do it as the CDA board? Does that matter? Second page. It's after the darker print.
Yeah, probably should be done by the
We did it
CDA.
as a town board. I don't know whether that makes.
So why don't we do this, Chris, why don't we open the CDA meeting and adopt this again as a CDA resolution?
Okay, I changed it to town, so.
We'll do both.
But-
It's still CDA property. Well, we can do it both ways. So let us pay the
Okay.
bills and you come up and we'll close the meeting, open it, and we'll authorize this as a
I
town
make a
board.
motion,
CDA.
let's do one last resolution.
Yeah, let's do the pay
827, a motion to pay the bills. So moved.
And seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio,
Yes.
Gabrielson,
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Dunleavy,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
resolution adopted.
I make a motion that we temporarily close the town board meeting and open the CDA meeting. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio,
Yes.
Gabrielson,
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Dunleavy,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
the CDA meeting is now open.
I'm not
Just
quite
call-
sure of the numbering.
I think it's
825.
17, if my memory serves me right, I think it's 17.
Town of Riverhead CDA Resolution Number 17. Resolution authorizing the items listed below pursuant to the bond acts enacted in 1965, 1972, and 1996, and the Environmental Protection Fund, as well as federal grant awards available for such projects, funding application to New York State DEC for Round 11 2013 Water Quality Improvement Project to support enhanced sewer infrastructure at Epcal subdivision.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Sorry. Giglio,
Yes.
Gabrielson,
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Dunleavy,
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
The resolution is therefore duly adopted, and that completes the business of the CDA.
Thanks, Chris. Get a motion to close the
I
CDA.
make a motion we close the CDA meeting and reopen the town board meeting. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Giglio,
Yes.
Gabrielson,
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Dunleavy,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
the town board meeting is now reopened.
Now that we open it for public comment on issues that may or may not be before the town board, we ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes, but that never seems to happen. But we ask them anyway. Sandra Mott?
Hope springs eternal.
Good afternoon.
Well, congratulations on your reelection, which makes it simpler for all of us who have outstanding issues, that we don't have to wait for people to get up to speed. So, good luck to you all in this next time frame.
Thank you.
You know what my issue is. It's the animal shelter. I understand things are progressing. I spoke to Gillian this morning. But there still is no location that has been decided upon. And I'd like to know if it, I could be wrong, if it's not been decided upon, I'd like to know why not, since $350,000 sits in a trust for a cat shelter through Norfolk Animal Welfare League that they received specifically for a cat shelter in the town of Riverhead for Riverhead cats. In addition, I understand there's approximately $50,000 in the Move the Animal Shelter not-for-profit, and I've always been told, well, get the money. Well, it seems that other people have gotten you the money, and I'm grateful for them for doing that, and I'm extremely grateful for Norfolk Animal Welfare League to take on the task of overseeing the shelter. And as you can see by the beautiful little dogs that come to you during your 2 o'clock sessions, you know, I won't be adopting any, but I certainly will pray that they will find homes, as I do every night. I really am against that Henry Pfeiffer Senior Center. It didn't work for seniors. I really don't think it would be a useful location, since it's off the beaten track, dangerous, and if no one knows where that is, follow the airplanes in Calverton to the end of the runway, and then go west, about a mile or so. I'm really concerned about that location because, as we know, in the Riverhead News Review of October 10th, with the headline, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, I'm just going to edit it, "Kittens Found Dead." We know what happened to those 4 kittens, and I don't know what's happened in that regard, if any headway has been made in finding the person who murdered those poor innocent little things. My fear is that comparable would happen if you put it in an isolated location at Henry Pfeiffer. I know the building's there and all of that, but I would like to make a very simple suggestion that the land that has just been reclaimed on Youngs Avenue across from where the current animal shelter is safe to utilize. Is that correct at this point?
We use that for our yard waste facility.
Not all of it, though.
Yeah, when that
all
was
of it?
full,
She's talking about where the solar project's gonna go.
the flat property we use for, when we use, that was full up until about 2 months ago with yard waste. We crushed it, we ground it all, but yeah, we need that facility and then
All
some.
of it.
Absolutely. When we
All
had
right,
that
then that
hurricane,
brings me back to the
we used
adjacent
both si-
property.
We used both sides.
Well, I can't see over the hills, and I don't go up there very often. When I do go by, it seems like there's enough land that could accommodate a new animal shelter, especially if you would utilize buildings, which was my next statement. If you ask local mobile home park owners, I can guarantee you that there are double wides sitting in their communities that are not occupied, that have been vacant, that have either been abandoned or they've taken over title of because the person has passed, the family has no interest, or whatever, that if you approach them, I wouldn't swear to it, but I'm going to say, if you could get it for low cost or as a donation, because as we were told, the only real value in those parks are the land. And if they can get the land back to put on a new unit by taking out the old ones, all they do is, especially the doubles, they're very simple. They just bring them in halves and take them out. You'd need a cement slab and put them up there and wherever there is going to be, and make it a simple and to the point direction. There's no reason that this should be going on for another year, another 2 years, another 4 years, another 20 years.
Well, we've made great headway, and
Yes, you have.
Still we're still working with Move the Animal Shelter and
I know
Northfork to come up with a final resolution. And we're also talking to the school district. I wasn't really talking about the move. Carol gets mad. What do you call it? Cat. Yeah.
Cattery.
A place for cats.
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. That works.
That
Cat
would be the best
sanctuary.
approach to the whole
But
thing.
the school district may be getting rid of some of their portables, and
They
that
have
may
been
be-
getting rid of them for a number of months, and I brought that to your attention and
Yeah,
to the board's
no,
attention.
we're in
so,
communication with the school district about potentially getting one of the portables.
well,
or
that would be
more.
wonderful, but we still go back to where are you going to put it?
We haven't landed there yet, but we're getting close.
Yeah, I know. I remember what I repeatedly saw you during your campaigning through the community. You told me that I'd be happy. Well, I'm not happy yet.
You're not
And the
happy,
win-
but I'll
and
make
the
you as
winter's
happy as I
coming.
can.
But ironically, there was such
We're
a.
going to make you a volunteer in the cat sanctuary.
I will help get you money, and I could get
Good.
that thing built. It could have been built years ago.
We're getting there.
But I have
Very
to make
close.
certain that it's not going to be a situation where I'm going to go one day and they're going to be fine, and then the next day they got slaughtered because they were in this godforsaken location and they were killed like the poor little kittens were.
I happen to live in the west end of the town, and
I'm
not
not
that far
talking.
from EPCAL. It's
No,
not
no,
so
no,
bad.
but not. You don't live over there. That's a very. I brought the
I
map.
know.
I brought it here. I'm not going to rehash 20 years of effort, but I will tell you one thing. I'd like to know, does that money revert? The $350,000, have you talked with Gillian? Does it revert after a certain time frame? Or do they have a time period that they have to work
That's up
with?
to them.
That's
That
really their
surrogate's
that's
court.
not ours.
Yeah, that's something that's being dealt with. It's a bequest through surrogate's court, as I understand it. So they do have a time frame that they have to deal with, but that's not something that is,
But
that
that should
we
be
have
kept
control
in
over.
mind if this is money that you can utilize for a cattery to keep the cost to the community down.
It's what we're
I mean, I
hoping
think
to
it's
do.
a really important thing. And in regard to move the animal shelter, I talked to the young woman who organizes that, and in regard, they were having some locations for like a little flea market type thing, and it was a very high price for the spot for like a couple of hours of the day. She told me that they, in order for her to run anything in the town through this organization, she has to take out her own insurance policies, even though the activity is trying to benefit the town. My suggestion to her was, could she not discuss it with you, that you have a policy liability? Could she not have a rider attached and pay the premium for the rider rather than her monies that she's collecting from people to run these things? It's supposed to be helping the animals.
I think the only way we
Right, we waived the Chapter 90 fee, we waived the showmobile fee. Any Chapter 90 event has to have independent insurance decided from the town.
It cannot be utilized through a rider through the town.
No, we don't do that. The bid, who really is the town, for a long time, we made them get their own
Even
insurance.
Townscape, who
They
does
still get their own
everything for the
insurance.
It just seemed like a misuse of donated funds and effort on her
Well,
behalf.
it's-
She's
unless somebody
not
gets hurt.
asking, I'm asking, you know? Bottom line of the story is, I hear huffing and puffing that people want to go on to things. We looked for that park, in Dog Run, I guess it's called, park, in Stotsky Park. Can I tell you, that's a very hard place to find?
Yeah,
I
we
drove
have-
around it several times, and it's also very isolated, another isolated situation.
Yeah,
That
signs
should
are
be to the
ordered.
forefront.
There are signs ordered.
Are there? Well, we
know.
didn't see any until we got there, but there was no direction in. My second concern is that rehab center that's proposing to come to EPCAL. I understand they want to pay you $10 million for the land. Is that?
It's not, that's Jan Berman's property.
Oh, it's
And-
Jan Berman's property.
Yes, and they are before the ZBA. I don't know that the ZBA will approve them or not approve them. I hear things in the wind like everybody does, but I don't know whether that's going to get approved or not. It's certainly an interesting theory.
Well, the only problem with that theory is if it's going to be such an open campus, allowing people to utilize the space, that's sort of how they got in trouble in the first place. I think they need I don't know these people. I know of very good family friends whose daughter had to go to Phoenix House, and I'd like to know why these people are not going to a location such as John Foley, next to the police headquarters, which is already county-owned, correct? Going to them and have a more controlled environment for the people. They already got off on the bad track, having too much, opportunities.
Well, there's
And-
not a lot of opportunity around EPCAL. It's desolate, you said. I'm kidding. There's no bars anyway.
Well, I'm not saying that there should be bars. I'm saying they need to have more of an opportunity to, if they get tempted.
No saloons, no.
You know,
No, but-
I want to say that I don't believe that it's the intent of this board to allow any type of housing at EPCAL, but, we're still discussing the zoning issues and what we will change the zoning to at Enterprise Park at Calverton. And right now, any type of housing is not permitted in the zoning So if the zoning board were to approve that application, I would petition this board to file an Article 78 to reverse that decision, because I don't believe that any type of housing belongs at EPCAL.
I don't think it's the highest and best use of the land. I wish these people well. I also understand that Brookhaven Memorial Hospital closed their maternity wing a number of years ago to concentrate on like outpatient rehab. I don't know if that ever took off or not. And as I mentioned, Phoenix House. There are other facilities, for people who are in need. And I know, as I said personally, people who are in need. It's not that they don't need the help. But I don't think such an open environment would be useful to their moving forward. My other concern is deer signage and car collisions. I was reading it, I guess it was a news review. There are methods of helping people be advised of deer. It includes posting signs that they are in the area. And it also includes the New York State Department of Transportation. They utilize on the New York thruways deer reflecting signs, like there's a cross pattern, so the deer's go, what's that? And they go back into the wooded area. If someone could look into that, I brought it to the attention to the highway superintendent, Mr. Woodson, a number of years ago. But, you know, there's another approach than killing. I know people enjoy hunting, but I think we're getting a little overpopulated for hunting in this neck of the woods, when I can hear it every weekend right next to Glenwood.
I heard it this morning.
Right next to Glenwood.
Somebody shooting this morning.
There's no,
I don't care
it's not
what it is,
shotgun
it's a
season.
There's no, deer hunting with shotgun is not even open on Long Island until January 6th.
Well, whatever they're
Maybe
killing,
duck
they're
season,
using
small
weaponry
game, but
that
it's not
shouldn't
deer
be
hunting.
using so close to, you know, sent homes.
There was somebody shooting this morning.
Is it rabbit season?
Squirrels, yeah.
I heard
Whatever
shotguns
they're
this morning.
killing is a moot point. The point is they should not be doing it, and enforcement should be made. And that property adjacent to the Glenwood extension is technically town land, because 70% was to be preserved and given to the town of Riverhead. And if that's the case, you need to go over and post.
I don't think we own that land. It may be
Well, that's
preserved
what
as
was
open
the
space.
agreement for them to get the extension.
No, it's probably owned by, I don't speak.
Well,
from-
whoever needs to look into it needs to do some
Probably.
posting over there.
But they
Because,
may be allowed to hunt there, if they meet the setback requirements. And the town
a
doesn't.
bullet is not going to worry about where it's going. I don't care how far setback you are. You're not in the Catskill Mountains or the Adirondacks.
Unfortunately for you, but fortunately for the hunters, the New York State sets that guideline, 500 foot from a residence.
500 feet.
500 feet. So it
Really?
doesn't matter what we say, they have the right to hunt. If it's a private ownership, they can allow the hunting in. The town's deer hunting, like you say, is very restricted, starts in January 6th, but a lot of the farms, private areas, are allowed to hunt. And it's New
Well,
York State DEC regulation,
when
we
they
can't
start
make it
killing
less.
someone's kid or grandchild, then I'm sure that those laws are going to change. My last concern is Route 58 with all of what's been going on, most of it unnecessary development. I mean, we really needed someplace that you could buy dollar items, and that under $5 or whatever the name of that.
Below.
Five Below, whatever it is.
My kids love that story.
And some of the other stuff that they have there, which is basically a twin of Big Lots, if you read their ads. The traffic horrors that are there are nothing considering what you're going to have in the next few weeks and in bad weather. I don't know who did the CEQA or who wrote it or who read it. Obviously, the consideration of the residents in all the communities, either passing through or living adjacent to those developments, were not really considered.
That was all done during the
Succinctly.
master plan.
Yeah, well, let me say, somebody goofed, as my mother just said. It's very dangerous there, especially since everything folds down into smaller lanes. And I just ask you to, now that you have some new police officers, or if you hire additional traffic control people, I'm not sure if that's in your budget, you really need to have them out there, you know, at least with someone to know that we are trying to get in and out, because you can't say go out on Mill Road. That's not any better. That's a blind road. That's what we've always been told. And if you can help us with these things, but the most urgent thing, as you know, to me, are the animals.
Thank you.
And whether you're shooting them, squirrels, pheasant, whatever, I really don't see the need. But that's your decision. But when it comes so close to someone's home repeatedly, and when somebody gets killed, they're not going to care about your 500 feet background and so on. Didn't somebody from Wading River, I think, get shot upstate New York by someone, and they're being held responsible by their co-hunters? I think a couple weeks ago or something. And that was upstate New York. I thank you very much. So when do you have any plans on making a decision on the location, other than saying it's in the works?
I'm hoping next 30 days. Jim and I have some more meetings to.
Right now, the lease agreement's in their hands, right?
We're working on it.
What did you say, Jim? I didn't hear it.
Well, there is, we're doing a contract with them, and it's in their hands now.
Yeah, we're
Whose
trying to.
hands?
North Fork.
It's in North Fork's hand, but not for the positioning of it, is it? You make the decision as to the
make the
No, the
location.
utilization of the erection of it,
So
so.
they may not want the Pfeiffer Center, and then we're back.
Again?
They may not want the Pfeiffer Center, and then we have to look at other things. So we're getting close. We're not there yet.
Yeah, I know. Well, in the meantime, could they connect with one of the local vets, like the Riverhead Animal Hospital, in regard to facilities for animals that are going to be in overflow and outside in the cold up there?
Oh, North Fork is good. I'm amazed at how well they treat those animals.
I'm not amazed. I've been saying it for years that you should have connected it. You only have from March 15th to the current date of working with them. They've been extremely wonderful. And could people please, blankets, toys, food, fostering, and adoptions.
Right,
You know,
thank you.
call them, you know, I mean, I can't
money.
say enough about them all.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much.
Thank you for your 5 minutes. Does anybody else wish to be heard tonight? Not, oh, yes?
Yes, I would. Thanks, Liz. Thanks a lot. I'm Greg Folk, and I'm very nervous.
Don't be. We don't bite.
First time I've been up here. This has been going on since '05. I purchased 916 East Main Street in '05, and it didn't have a C of O. I was promised that it would, but those promises were not able to be kept. And since then, it's been a pretty hair-raising experience trying to get this thing try to get it through town in either through the ZBA or. In any case, the house doesn't have a C of O. It's a three-family house with a detached cottage.
This is Betty Edwards.
Betty Edwards' old house, yep. It was, I went up to the ZBA twice and it was rejected. I honestly can't explain why. I don't know the reasons why. I think that maybe because it was Betty Edwards' house. I don't know. But she didn't have a very good reputation. But unfortunately, I seem to be living in it. What I did through all that time, I'm going to read what I wrote. Thanks to a good friend had told me write it down and maybe you could put it in some kind of order. The house that's there is filled to capacity. The people that live there, several of them work in town. They're hard-working people. They do the best they can to keep the place clean. Unfortunately, because I haven't been able to obtain money because I don't have a C of O, I can't fix the house up. So it's getting to the point now where I have to do something about the place soon. Either that or abandon it. I don't know.
What do you have a CO for?
There's no CO. There was a CO at one time, back in the 70s, and then Betty Edwards had filed for various configurations for the house, but she never completed the process. And according to the rules, since it wasn't being operated as whatever, or I don't understand the rules, to be honest with you.
It has to be a pre-existing non-conforming use back to 1965.
Right.
You have to make that showing before the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Right.
By the preponderance of evidence, probably not the right standard. It is not the right standard, but you have to present the evidence that it was that since 1965. If you haven't done that, there's nothing this town board can do.
Right.
Because we're not going to rezone it.
Well, that's what I'm asking for. What we have there is a house that's, if we take a look at the character of the neighborhood, it fits it perfectly. There are multiple houses. In fact, I spent some time observing what was there, and I also went through tax records, and I've got a pretty good assortment of different buildings that are along that whole corridor. Literally directly across the street is a commercial residential campus, which there are houses that look just like mine, and you're able to go and do what you're doing, do what I'm doing legally.
Right across the street?
Right across the street, directly across the street.
So your property is on the north side or the south side of Main Street?
On the north side.
On the north side. So the
Right.
south side, right across the street from you, is owned where they can have a three-family house, but
Yeah.
you're right across the street and you can't.
Right.
Okay.
It's that's one area. Then of course you have right up the road you have industrial. It's zoned industrial. It's literally 3 lots away. On the other side we have it's DC3, 5 lots, 6 lots away. And it's just that one little section where, and right behind me is the condos.
Mill Ponds.
The who?
Mill Ponds.
Mill Ponds, yeah.
You would have to, Mr. Folk, you should make a change of zone application if you, that's what you want. There's an application, there's a showing you have to make to the town board, you've got to fill out the application, pay the fee if you want to move in that direction, and the town board, doesn't have to consider the change of zone, but they could if they chose to. So, the better course of action is, I mean, you're talking to us, but that's not gonna change anything, because the town board's not, I don't think it's gonna change it on its own motion. So, if you chose to, you could make a change of zone application.
Is that the only alternative I have, or?
That's pretty much it, unless a board member is going to offer up a resolution to change the zone on the town board's motion, and you get 3 board members to support it, which I don't see that happening. So the change of zone
Well,
application.
the thing that's particularly upsetting is the fact that that building's been operating that way even before I bought it, since the early 70s, literally exactly the way it is.
So, but what you just said makes it not a non-conforming use.
Right, okay. There's never been any objections by neighbors. When I filed for the ZBA, we had to, of course, send out to all the locals for any objections. Nobody ever objected for the building the way it is. So I don't, I'm beside myself at this point. I have to do something about it. I don't like trying to operate under the wire. I want to be absolutely upfront and do the right thing. And I don't.
You've been very upfront now.
Well, this is it.
Do you know when those apartments were put in there and when the cottage was built? I know you said
The cottage was back in the late 1900s.
Huh?
The cottage was built in the late 1800s.
In the back?
In the back,
1800s?
yeah.
Well, if you can prove that that was done before 1965,
That part,
then it will fall underneath non-conforming use, and that they didn't have COs at that time, and that we didn't have
That's the
a
application.
ZBA at that time.
That's the application to the
But you
ZBA.
went to the ZBA and did you express that to the ZBA, and did the ZBA decide that you could have 2?
I have to go through all the records. This has been in and out several times. As I recall, we did do the research, and that cottage was it was pre-existing.
But I think what Councilwoman Giglio is asking, or if she's not, I am, did they say you could have a 2-family house? The cottage and the main residence? So that sounds like that could be realistic. I don't know.
I don't know. I have to look back into it again.
Yeah, or they just decline it.
They-
They could just decline it, or they could give you a alternative, like a one-family house and a cottage at the back.
Poor Jeff.
You have to look at your paperwork and find out what they did.
See that gentleman right there? I'm sorry, John. See that gentleman? Jeff, raise your hand. Jeff is the director of the building and the planning department. The ZBA falls under that umbrella.
Right.
He can't do your work for you, but if you bring the file, we can look at it and find out what it is the ZBA said, and
How best
Jeff
to direct
could
it.
give you a course of action through the town, the best course of action through the town.
Yeah, 'cause if you can find old pictures or something to prove that it was there before 1965,
Oh, boy.
that will help you.
Or you could petition the town board for a change of zone.
Well, I can give you one. I used to deliver newspapers there when I was a kid, so. The cottage has been there a long time.
But the cottage, that may be, that to give him a 2-family.
Yeah.
But that's a gentleman you want to talk to.
I'm pretty sure that the cottage, we've got good records on that. I know for a fact that we probably could get 2 families.
It's just what Betty did to the main house.
Right. It's the main house that stopped it. In fact, I had even a permit to go and do corrections on the cottage to going back.
But it may be all that you're going to get is a 2-family from the ZBA.
On the house or the 2-family meaning?
For the whole lot.
Well, there was also another one, is that she had applied for an office downstairs. But and that was another part of it. And we even negotiated originally that that's what I would get. That's what we could be approved. But the thing is that it's really more viable as an apartment.
What I'm saying to you is this format is not going to help you. You need to talk to the professional staff. They can guide you in the right direction. If you don't get the result you can speak that you think you're entitled to, you're always entitled to speak to us, but you don't even necessarily, you're not articulating what the ZBA approved or wouldn't approve, and so you need to know what that is, and if it's a 3-family residence and the zoning board of appeals approved a 2-family, then the change of zone application is probably what Jeff Murphy's going to say to you.
But,
There was more to it than that, and I don't think I'm telling you all of it, but there was a lot more to it, and
We'll let the staff sort through the paperwork and they can best direct you what your best course action.
okay.
I mean, that's the best.
we wish we could help you, but by state law, we can't. And that's
Yeah,
the
the
ZBA
zoning board has the
is
jurisdiction
the only one that can do that, at this time.
over that application.
Yes.
Change of zone, we could deal with. But Jeff could direct you in the right direction, but you might want to test the pulse, if you will, of the town board, maybe meet with them and talk to them about the application, because I think you're gonna find that change of zone is gonna be a heavy lift for you. And I don't want you to spend, I think it's $200 or $2,200 on a change of zone application if you don't have, people on the town board that are looking at that favorably.
Well, why would the town board not approve it? I mean, it's literally doing what it's been doing for the last,
Yeah, we have to look at it, but it's in the middle of one-family residential homes, in the middle on the north side of the road.
on the other side, it's
On the other
multi-family.
side on the other side highway is different, but
The
it's
house on
located.
one side is a multi-family
On the
house.
north side.
Yeah, no, on the same side as mine, 2 houses over.
But this is the wrong format to ask what you're asking. You have to bring a formal application,
What else with two
and the
families?
best way to do that is talk to the planning staff and try to figure out what the best course of action is. And if it's a change of zone, then if you want to, you would bring that. I also would recommend, because of the questions you're asking, you may want to have design professional help.
No, I've done all that too. Yeah. There has been extensive work on this. So
But-
that's where we're at now. So I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
See Jeff.
Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to be heard?
Yep.
Jeff wants to be heard. Not seeing anybody, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion for the adjourned town board meeting.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I tried. That's the same thing that happened last time.
See? You did this, you